Hi Gemini, I hope you guys do great today. Welcome to your general messages for the 15th to the 22nd of May. Let's get right into things. We have a lot to talk about. It's all about you this month, right? You guys are the sun's going into Gemini on the 20th in your first house of self. You also have Venus conjunct the North Node in your first house of self. So let's talk about this. I just feel really good energy for you guys. We have 7th house, beautiful. This has to do with marriage contracts or any relationship that has to do with a contract. So this could be anything having to do with a business agreement, anything having to do with a settlement of any kind, where there was any sort of contractual anything going on. So there's going to be a lot of focus there. We have Scorpio, which is all about change. It's also the landlord of the 8th house, which is where we show up as a we in relationship, blending money with a partner. Intimacy, communication, all of that. It's where endings meet new beginnings. It's a very cyclical nature. This could have to do with, again, the settling of a contract, the settling of an inheritance, an insurance payout. This could have to do with some sort of new cycle upon you in relationship. Now, whatever that is, for some of you, it could be a beautiful new cycle. For some of you, it could be transitioning out of the relationship through the dissolution of your marriage, perhaps, through a divorce of some sort. But we do have Venus here, and we have Venus is hanging with is conjunct that North Node in Gemini in your first house of self. So number one, solar return, Venus in there, North Node, lots of gifts coming in your house of self. You are going to be looking very, very cute, Gemini, very cute. So let's get into this. Let's pull a bunch of astro cards, a couple of tarot, just to we're going to start off with a general message just for everybody, general area. Then we'll break out into more specific having to do with relationship, and then a separate one more specific having to do with career/money situation. I'm going to timestamp below for the relationship and the career one in the description box, where you'll also find, if you're interested, a 15% off coupon code for my Synastry reads. Those are partnership reads, okay? All right, let's see what we have here. Aries, Aries is the landlord of the first house, yeah. So there's a lot going on in your first house, which is really nice. Okay, my Mac is receiving a phone call. That's very funny. Okay. Just ignore that. It's across the room. Let me see if I can. Okay. Actually, that was my brother calling. Sorry, Freddie can't talk now. Messages for Gemini. Sun, Moon, Mars, and Venus. Step out of your comfort zone, North Node, Gem. Oh, I have such a good feeling about this reading. It's already you guys are the North Node right now. Gemini is the North Node. Step out of your comfort zone. I love it. This is beautiful. You have a lot of changes going on. Everybody's been saying that, but seriously, Gemini, you have Uranus and Taurus in your 12th house, and the 12th house is your subconscious. So it's not necessarily that you see so many big grandiose changes happening out in the 3D for you, but you feel yourself changing inside. You've been going through a lot of changes right now, and that's going to manifest out in the real world, obviously, having to do with choices and whatnot. So I really like that. Let's see. All right. Let's pull one more astro card. Aries too. Aries I am. So Aries is a leadership energy, right? It's ruled by Mars. It's like, it's the Emperor. It's being very confident, doing something scared, but feeling confident, feeling really confident. If you were, maybe you would have been really scared to do a certain something 6 months ago, a year ago, and now you're like, oh my gosh, no, this is the right thing for me to do. Let me go after it. A lot of you guys are going to be realizing, I want to start my own business, or I want to go and ask that person out. I'm going to go and make friends with that person. I want to go and fix that family situation. It's feeling this gumption to have this, a new path in a particular area of your life, and you feeling very leadership-ish in that area. I just made up a word. You like that? And really wanting to just go out and create something that you're really looking to bring to yourself. Now, don't allow the idea that you don't maybe know all of the other side of something, meaning you have a lot of good ideas. It's an Aries energy, but you might get to a point where you're like, well, how is it actually gonna work? I don't know, but this is what I want to do. You know what I mean? It's like setting your arrow in that direction. Why we call Aries the leadership energy? A good leader can go in and round people up, and they have a lot of energy and a lot of fire and a lot of confidence. They're very good at delegating things, very good at delegating. These are my ideas. It's not my job to put them into action. It's somebody else's that I'm hiring, kind of thing. So really this energy also has to do with surrounding yourself with the right people and making sure that you're in the right circumstances. Not that the other people in your life are actually going to come and save you by any stretch. No. It means that you are recognizing that you're going to end up needing other people to get to where it is that you want to go. So there's going to be a lot of focus on connection here. And you're going to need to step out of your comfort zone. Even though you guys are very sociable, what's interesting about Geminis? They're actually very shy at the end of the day, which is like the dirty little secret that a lot of people don't know about Geminis. Trine, go with the flow. Beautiful. We love trines. It's all about harmonizing. So what did we do when we harmonize? We bring things together. This is not a very individualistic energy. It's you harmonizing with other people. So we have the 7th house, and then we have Scorpio, which is the 8th house energy. Now, right now, in the 8th house, you have Pluto. Pluto actually rules the 8th house. Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio. Go modern ruler, okay? So there's a lot of changes going on in this area of 8th house, which means how you show up as a we in relationship, the blending of your resources, your communication skills, and your intimacy with other. This could have to do with changes in your business connections. This could have to do with a cyclical anything, a divorce agreement, an inheritance situation, any sort of insurance settlement, anything like that, something having to do with a cyclical nature. But what I like about this is we have Venus here, so there's going to be a softening. We have a trine, so there's going to be a softening here as well. Yeah, this is nice. And it's also sextiling your 6th house. So that 6th house energy it's going to be helping it out. And that's your mental, physical, and emotional health. It's what you do on the day-to-day. It has to do with your work environment. So I feel like this is a nice energy. But it might not be totally comfortable for you at all steps. And that's okay. That's okay. But don't be surprised if you feel super restless right now and scattered and curious and dealing with a bunch of things at once. You're used to that, right? But you're going to be doing that. And especially with Venus conjunct that North Node, there's going to be a lightening to something. Now, I don't know what your chart is, and I don't know what's aspecting it, that energy in your 1st house. But when Venus is positively aspected, a lot of gifts comes. When Venus is not positively aspected in your chart, it could bring a lot of rumination, a lot of jealousy, a lot of aggression. We don't talk about that part of Venus too much, but that's the reality. So let's see what we have going on here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's so funny. As I was saying, Aries is going out and you might not have all the answers, so in a way it's doing something scared. That's exactly what the strength energy is. It's kind of like doing something scared. You might be dealing with tensions at work if this is a work thing, how you're resonating with this because of somebody's ego, but it can be resolved through empathy. If this has to do with a relationship, you might have felt like your relationship was tested, but things are going to get better, but there's this need for balance. There's definitely a need for balance here, and you're going to be able to do it because there's a lot of patient energy here. 7 of Pentacles is a very nice energy. It's hard work that ends up paying off, being super patient. Seeing that even though this might be hard, there's so much potential for success in this job, in this family situation, in this relationship, whatever it is. It's don't give up. You're almost there. Even if you feel like, I just don't want to deal with this anymore. Keep going, because then look at this. You're going to have a new cycle. Beautiful energy here. The page indicates a new cycle. This is a personification of water. This is really good news about an emotional aspect of your life. So that could be anything from a love relationship, friendship, family, financial, anything. It's really good. Some of you, new potential partner is on the horizon. Right there. It's a very sensitive energy. Really nice. So I like this for the general messages here for sure. I'm kind of getting a little bit of everything. I'm getting relationship, I'm getting career, but I mean, look, Gemini, you have Jupiter and Pisces kicking up your MC. that 10th house energy, which is all about professional success and public image. So, I mean, yeah, it's beautiful. Let me see. Yeah, and it's trining your second house of resources as well. So whatever's going to happen, but this is the thing, it's squaring your first house. So what does that mean? You may be at tension with something that you're feeling pushed to move into. Like maybe things feel up in the air. Maybe you're feeling a little vulnerable. Maybe you're feeling, I don't know if I could do this, right? Where you're questioning this kind of thing. But do it, because it's trining your second house of money and resources and things that you value. It also has to do with your self-esteem. So I feel like do something, even if you're scared, you're going to feel so happy that you did. Go after that relationship. Even if you're like sort of, I don't know if this is the right one for me. You know, gems, we struggle with that, right? In relationship, is this right? Is this not? You know, it doesn't stay like that forever. Like when you get with the right energy, everything kind of falls into place. But there's this constant questioning anyway throughout, because that's just the Gemini in nature. So, all right, really good for the general messages, I think. So let's move this into relationship. And let's see what kind of messages can come up for our Gemini friends. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. All right. Let's pull a couple of oracles. First, we'll pull Healing Yourself and Wisdom of the Oracle. Let's pull a Healing Yourself oracle first. Maybe we'll pull two. We'll see how we're feeling. Okay. Courage. Huh? That's what I'm talking about. Courage. Need courage in relationship. How teachable are you? Oh, that's funny. Say I'm teachable. I'm very interested in many things. That's the problem. How teachable are you? It's funny. Gemini is the third house. Third house has to do with early learning and the ability to learn things. So honestly, fewer signs are as teachable as you. Truly. But this just means maybe needing to look at things a little differently and being brave in relationship in a way where maybe before you would run away from something, or you would make excuses for something not feeling right or not being the right thing, or, you know, that kind of stuff. All right. I feel like a lot of it is connected to other people. I keep getting that, you know, besides the fact that you have Pluto in the 8th and you have Mars in the 2nd. It's not about that. You say Mars in the 2nd has to do with your self-esteem, but I feel like it has to do with, and your money and values and all of that. But I feel like it has to do with like how things are going in that other relationship. How are things going in that other realm? So if somebody is not showing up the way that you would like them to show up, not because they're a bad person, maybe you feel like they're a little thoughtless, or they're just not enough kind of thing, or you're just not interested and you really don't even want to say that to yourself because it sounds horrible. It just does, you know, but you might be feeling like that. Maybe look at something from a different perspective. Let's say, as I pull, not for you. How awesome is that? All right. To be fair. All right. So, being fair, something's not for you. We got to figure out what's not for you, Gemini. What's not for you. So, the way that this could also show up, which seems to be showing up in a lot of my readings for my private readings, I do private readings for Geminis, is it's very common for Geminis when they're in a relationship to also have an additional energy, not on their heart, but in their field, right? Somebody maybe from their past that they still think about. Somebody, even if somebody's just like a really good friend and you're not really sure, is it going to go somewhere? Or like, do they want to take it somewhere else? And so they're like in your energy in that way if you're in a relationship. I'm just saying this as if for those of you who are in a relationship, it doesn't necessarily mean that your relationship isn't for you. It could be that there's still an old energy where there's residue in there and you keep thinking about them. So that could certainly be manifesting for some of you. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Gemini, I'm going to say something. I feel like, all right, this is going to be very specific. I feel like maybe, maybe not. Okay, how do I say what I'm getting? You guys might be in the space where you're totally fine. You're good. You're single. You're good. You're in a relationship. You're good. You're good. You're good. Someone else, I'm feeling very heavy, may be thinking of you right now. Like heavy, heavy, heavy. Gemini is on their mind. So you let me know in the comments if when I go through this read, you might, and you may not, I feel like you know exactly who I'm talking about, those of you who are resonating with it. So see if as I go through this read, if this read isn't them, if this is just an enmeshed kind of energy. Because in which case, you were dealing with or are dealing with somebody, if this is another energy who's not very teachable, who's not very fair, who maybe did things within the relationship and they don't want to take any level of accountability, or maybe this is you. And it doesn't necessarily mean that somebody is a narcissist. Like, let's try to avoid going to those extremes, even if they might be. Let's just understand like what we have here. But there's disappointment. There's definitely disappointment in something not working out, confusion, feeling let down, and that lack of trust that the relationship can actually work ends up leading to a decision about the relationship. But you may not be in a space where you're actually outwardly admitting it. You might not even be talking about any of this out loud. So this could have to do with a relationship that you're in or somebody from the past. I know that sounds confusing, but I can't help it. Like, that's the way I'm getting it. So for example, you might be in a relationship that's really good, but you can still be thinking about somebody from your past and you feel kind of still low-key, maybe not so low-key disappointed that didn't work out because they let you down. But you're still in this other relationship. That's going to resonate for some of you. Others of you, you may have experienced a very disappointing situation within relationship that pushed you to make a decision. We have the Queen of Pentacles here, and this is very much about very, very generous, hardworking energy, for sure. Reliable, affectionate, generous. But if this is you just totally taking care of your body, your mind, your finances, just taking care of yourself. For others of you, this can have to do with if you're married, money coming to those of you who are coupled. This could also indicate Queen of Pentacles is also a marriage card. So you might be in a space of thinking about marriage. This is also indicative of like good management of the relationship, like money's on point, sex life is good, you feel like you're going in a good direction. Some of you might be thinking about getting pregnant because it's also an energy of fertility. So that's like the situation right now in your soul, right, in your heart. That's kind of like what you're looking for, all of that, right? We have this being crossed by the strength energy, which means that, okay, all of that is possible, but there needs to be balance. So you really need to figure out if somebody's ego an issue here, whether it's yours, whether it's somebody else's. You might be dealing with the Leo energy. But that's what that strength energy means. Yes, strength energy is Leo. Leo rules romance, love affairs. It rules children, right? So for some of you, we have the fertility energy crossed by the child's card. So there might be either challenges with children, your partner's children, or the idea of getting pregnant. The ability to get pregnant could certainly be that. I'm trying to give as many messages as I can because this is a general reading. But there might be some balance that's necessary in order for you guys to kind of get on your feet. Now, it just may be a really open and honest conversation is necessary because we have the Magician. Magician is straight Mercury. Mercury is your ruler and Virgo's ruler. So you're all about communicating and understanding that something might need to be looked at in a different way. Something might need to be learned in a different way. And then Virgo comes in here with that Mercury ruler saying, let's solve this problem. Let's look at the situation with a very discerning eye, talk about it, and solve the problem. So this is what's going on. For good or bad, there's got to be a conversation. Then we have the Fool as the foundation. So the Fool is Uranus. This is a new relationship or a new start or a new approach, doing things differently. It's Uranus. Boom, shocking surprise. Focus on the future, doing things differently. So, some of you may have been in this space where you were very disappointed in the relationship. You came together, you realizing where the imbalance was. You sat down, had a very open and honest conversation or conversations, right? And you're trying a new approach. But yet, you're still at cross purposes with yourself. So again, this is where I feel like there might, if you're in a relationship, this seems like, all right, something wants to self-correct, something wants to go better in relationship, but you might still have somebody else on your mind, or you may not be 100% convinced that this relationship is for you. And it's time to think, because you're in an emotional stalemate with yourself right now. So you need to make a decision. You want to protect yourself. It's a very protective energy, but the situation isn't going away. So you really have to resolve it now by standing your ground, saying what you think, because a decision is needed here. Now we have the Five of Pentacles external to you. So if this is another energy, somebody is in a lot of sadness and a lot of pain because of you, feeling very rejected, dejected. This can indicate the pain in the aftermath of a breakup or a death, This is a very internal psychological card. So if it is representing somebody else, they have a lot more support around them than they realize, but there might be this space where they're very much missing you. This could be the general energy that's surrounding you, where you're feeling this sense of loss, this sense of a lack of connection, and you're afraid to move forward in something. It could be because you're concerned about money, you're concerned about how you guys connect with one another, and you're very, very afraid. I mean, it really is an afraid card. Now we have the Lover's energy. Lovers is you, as most of you know. It's a Gemini energy. So Gemini is always about choices, right, Gem? Always about choices. So what's the choice here? Are we going to try to work this out or not? And if we are, we have to both be on the same page, willing to put in the same amount of work from the same place. Not to say that you don't each have your own subjective set of things that need addressing, of course, and your own subjective understanding of it all. But as long as you guys are in it together, like this is the kind of thing where it can't be 20-80 all the time. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to work. You're trying to fit a circle in a square. And that might be your challenge. Your challenge might be in getting somebody to see what it is that you really need in this relationship, or your ability to say, yeah, I'm in this 100% to work at it, whatever it takes. Because you might actually be in this space where, and I know so many Geminis hate when I say this. They hate it, hate it, hate it. And again, I don't know what else is aspecting your chart. And I'm a Gemini sun too, so I'm not throwing shade at anybody that I'm not openly willing to admit, even within myself. Geminis a lot of times, though, will make excuses for why they can't be in something, even though in their, I want to say in their higher mind, they genuinely believe those things as being issues that for them it's not going to work because of A, B, and C, or they're not going to be happy because of A, B, and C. But really, low-key, they're relieved when things don't work out, because then the Gemini energy is free to go and explore something better that might be around the bend or across the street or something like that. It's very interesting because Geminis like being in relationships, but if they're not in a relationship with somebody who they're attracted to, who they're excited by, who knows how to communicate, who's just very, I'm not even going to say restless, because too restless Gemini gets aggravated with that as well. But somebody who's just very complex and interesting, that is the kind of energy that resonates with the Gemini energy. Somebody who does the same thing day in and day out. They don't like to engage in things. They're not very interesting in conversation. They're not maybe very well versed in things. It doesn't necessarily have to be formal education, although they do like that because their descendant is the ascendant is Sagittarius, which represents higher education. So Gemini really does appreciate a very sharp mind. So if you're with somebody who's not like that, but they're really good in other areas, they're a really great person, but you can't figure out why things just always feel like they don't feel quite right, it's that, right? So it's this need to have this coming to this understanding and this realization of what's really, really necessary here. So I just see this happening for you. Very positive conversation is going to be coming out of this. The Two of Cups, a very mutually supportive energy. It really is. For those of you who are single, this could be a new relationship. This is a positive proposal. If things have been difficult, harmony returns. Very nurturing relationship where there's a lot of openness and honesty. And then we have the Emperor energy. So the Emperor is the Aries energy, as I am. It's Mars, right? But it is about being a leader, this leadership energy, taking the bull by the horns, right? Some of you may be meeting somebody new, right? If you're singles, can be meeting somebody new who's great, who values tradition, who's fantastic. For others of you, if you're in a relationship, future plans, practical matters are addressed in a current relationship in a really open way, So let's see if we can get some more information here. So we have the Queen of Wands in the reverse. So the Queen of Wands in reverse is a dull person. Oh my gosh, yes. It's very kind of feeling apathetic, feeling kind of cold. But at the same time, somebody who might be very aggressive. Yes. So somebody who's sort of like not exciting enough, has a tinge of coldness, and is actually kind of aggressive about it. So you might have been dealing with this energy. That's not a good vibe for Gemini. Gemini really doesn't like very aggressive people. The Gemini energy, the archetype, I'm saying, doesn't. Seven of Cups, confusion, choices, extreme commitment issue. Just not sure what you're feeling, not sure what's real, what's not real. Things feel up in the air, but you can feel that there's the beginning stages of something. Pay attention to your instincts here because it's a Venus and Scorpio energy. Then we have the Seven of Pentacles, okay? Putting some hard work in, being patient, saying, okay, let me be patient here and see what happens. We have the King of Wands. So the King of Wands is interesting because this is about not allowing perfection to get in the way of you bringing to the table all that you are and you being very well accepted or somebody else needing to be perfect, right? Obviously, that's a very subjective thing, whatever that means. We have Six of Wands, very nice. This is deserved success. This is feelings being shared, well received, great communication coming in. That ends up leading to a deepening of communication. Very good. Fabulous. The Star. It's beautiful. Destined to be with somebody here, my friends. Destined to be with somebody. Excellent. It's a very healing energy as well. Very healing. We change for the better after a difficult time. Final energy. We have the Sun. Please, really? Sun in Gemini. We got you. Nice. Beautiful. What does that mean? It means, having this super loving relationship, obviously, right? Growing a beautiful connection. Some of you might even be going on vacation together, which is nice, lucky you. But it's not about automatically, boom, things are going to be magically gone that are tensions in your relationship. No, what the Sun does is the Sun energetically puts all the tools in our toolbox that we need to work through something, to be honest with ourselves, to be honest with somebody else, and to just look at what's working, what's not working, and be true to ourselves. It really is about that. What makes you feel good? The Sun rules Leo in that fifth house energy. What makes you feel good? So the Sun rules romance, creativity, children. It rules things that we do because we love to do it. So you being very true to yourself in all of this. So you're looking to be fair, but you're feeling like something is not for you. Maybe it's not for you. It's a general message. Or maybe it is for you. Whatever it is. If they're not for you, you have to be fair and release and be brave enough to just let it go. Some of you may be like, this is not for me, but maybe I need to learn a little bit more about myself. With how teachable are you? You got to be fair and be brave to try to work through something. All right, my friends, that's what I have for that. Okay. right, let's put these on the side. Do I want to pull Island Time Wellness for you? Let me pull some Island Time Wellness. This can be an extension of that read or just some messages for somebody else. Sometimes they don't come out the same. Butterfly, healing heart, axe, love, passion, stabbed in the back, boat. We have the butterfly, relationship evolving to the next phase, healing the inner child growth. Yeah, I mean, that has a lot to do with how teachable you are, energy, passion, insane chemistry, like each other equally, having fun. Healing heart, healing from heartbreak, freedom from toxic relationship or addiction. Clarifying that, we have stabbed in the back, heartbreak, pain, separation, deception. So you were hurt and you're healing. So you might be carrying some pain from a past relationship. We have axe, breakup, separation, stopping the pattern, silent treatment, abandonment. And then we have boat, receiving what you need, progressing forward, arriving, moving on from something. And then we have love, unconditional love, self-love, oneness, affection, attraction, being clarified by abundance. Beautiful. Keeping a positive mindset, manifest exactly what you want, gratitude, bliss. So for a lot of you, this is, leaving an old pain and coming into a newer relationship. Some of you are in a relationship and you're finally wrapping up those feelings for that past person here. Others of you are healing past situations that were really challenging within this relationship to start like a new cycle for yourselves. So it depends on where you're at. As we say, it's all about your age and stage. Not everybody's in the same place. All right, so let's move on to career. Again, we have this Jupiter and Pisces in your 10th house. Lots of ideas popping here. Because Pisces is a very behind-the-scenes energy. It's very creative, very spiritual. It's very behind the scenes because it's the subconscious, right? So Jupiter in there, in the 10th house. Lots of really good planning, setting your pieces up in a row. Really good. Go the distance. Very nice. Milk and honey. That's what you want. Something giving you exactly what you need regarding resources, stability. Let me pull that. It's just going to be a positive thing for you. Milk and honey is a very positive card. Because milk and honey are very calming, very soothing. There's a sense of stability about them. Right now you're feeling sad. A lot of you might be very frustrated right now in your career, having to do with being recognized, accepted, maybe things that you are going through at work, where you almost feel like there's something that's eluding you and you can't quite put your finger on it right now. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that Jupiter is in Pisces in your 10th. Again, with Jupiter, it's excellent wherever Jupiter is, right? But being in Pisces, remember, Pisces is the subconscious. It's behind the scenes. It's like the stagehand. It's not the director kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's a good way of looking at it. So we have the Tower, reverse. The Three of Swords, reverse. Good. King of Swords. Okay. So coming into this energy, we have the Ace of Cups reverse, which is in the past. This is in the past. You were let down. You're feeling very disappointed, maybe even depressed, right? And having to do with the sadness energy here as well. Something wasn't working out. It's like, all right, come on now. We have the Tower, but now we have it reverse. So Tower reverse is much better than in the upright. Because you might find yourself taking responsibility even when you're blameless for something, right? So you could be in this space where, oh, well, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I didn't handle things the right way, or, whatever it is. But the thing here is you averted some sort of disaster. You might be experiencing some sort of fear of change here. This is very kind of internal energy as well. This can also indicate that you're holding on to either a career or a project or some sort of financial situation, something like that, that's not strong enough to stand the test of time. And if you've clung to the past to protect yourself from the reality, like something that you've been doing or something that you started or anything that you really wanted to work, your fears may end up materializing. So the collapse of that energy is inevitable. So don't feel responsible for forces outside your control, because whatever's going on here is not your fault. We don't always say that, right? We're always like, oh, take accountability and all of this stuff. The thing here, it's kind of like the opposite of that. It's like, no, seriously, something is not your fault. Maybe because of COVID, maybe because of you're in an industry where they honor nepotism more than anything else. I mean, the list could be very, very long, but I'm getting it's not your fault, right? Your things outside of your control have been at play, right? So it's just very important to know where you stand, okay? Because this might very well just sort of hit you out of nowhere, like, whoa, wait a minute. Can feel very sudden and dramatic, but you're going to know exactly where it is that you stand. So that's the situation right now, and that's being crossed by the Three of Swords in reverse. And this is about recovery after loss. This is about healing. This is about apologies. This is about, any kind of anything like that, right? So it was this idea of, why is this not working out? It's my fault, and then somebody coming in and saying, no, you know what, it's not your fault, it's my fault, or it's the industry, or it's COVID, or whatever it is. So I really love these two together because there's a lot of validation here. Now, especially if it's like, I'm getting divorced, right? Because this has to do with not only career, it has to do with all money situations. Like if you're getting divorced, it's like, oh, if only I would have done A, B, and C. No. It's not your fault, all right? Maybe that. Some sort of family situation that surrounds money, something in the work environment, if only. No. And somebody validating that for you. Now we have the King of Swords energy that's crowning here. So the King of Swords is very focused on the mind rather than the heart, right? In order to take charge of the circumstances. And that is a really good way to go. I mean, that's great. This is a very comfortable energy for you. It's a fellow air energy. This is Capricorn, which is Earth, but it's also Aquarius. So Capricorn and Aquarius energy. So stay in the mind right now for sure. Be very sort of like practical and pragmatic about whatever it is that you're taking on. So we have the King of Pentacles in the reverse. King of Pentacles in the reverse is this can indicate a jealous person. You might be dealing with somebody who's very jealous, somebody who doesn't have any follow through, somebody who procrastinates a lot. Maybe they're putting off, avoiding, wrapping up that lawsuit, that settlement, that inheritance, that finally getting back to you about something regarding that, position, whatever it is. But this is you staying very sort of in your mind. This could also indicate, it's because it's with these two kings are opposing each other as the crowning and as the foundation. I feel like there's somebody, you're very rivalrous with somebody. With Gemini, you might be not rivalrous like you want to be, but almost like somebody is being rivalrous with you. And you're like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, why are you being like this? Having to do with the situation where you're coming in and you're very like, all right, all we have to do is this, and this. And if we could just do those things, then we could probably get to this space. And somebody is just procrastinating, and it's because they're jealous and it's a whole host of things. That happens a lot to Gemini. I'm sure you guys have had that experience. And then a lot of times things can fall apart through no fault of your own, for real, right? It's a very interesting energy. There is a lot of, over the trajectory of life, Geminis are known for self-sabotaging behaviors. And I think every Gemini who's really honest with themselves can identify those points. Yet there are other points where things happen and it's just like, wow, what happened? Like you feel like you're caught in the crossfires of something and, you're needing to deal with that fallout. But I feel like there's going to be validation, but you're still dealing with something here. We have the Ten of Swords in the reverse. So I like the reversals that we're getting because they're better than the upright. So the Ten of Swords in the reverse is about taking a break and just finally saying no to something and just feeling more free and just lighter and just saying, no, I'm not going to accept that. I realized I don't want to do that job. I realized I don't want to study that thing. I just don't want to be part of that thing anymore. I just don't want it. Now we have the devil energy. It's external to you that's influencing you. So with the devil energy, with career or money, you might be experiencing some like unfair contract or just not being happy. You're just not satisfied in your career. You might be dealing with very dominant people, like a dominant boss or a toxic work environment or just toxic energies, some real psychic vampires here, just generally negative people, negative people, like, because the devil is that it's negativity that ends up shackling a situation, and it just, you can't be in it anymore. The devil energy in numerology is the lover's energy, which is all about, which is Gemini. It's all about choice, right? It's all about choice. Are we going to work at this together or not? And when the devil is upright, somebody is not willing to be very compromising with you. So if the situation, if you're looking at it and you're like, look, I'm trying to do this thing, I'm trying to work at this career, I'm trying to make this thing happen, it's not working, you're going to be in an energy where it's like, all right, you know what, I'm just stepping away from this for a bit because this is not working out. It's just lightening yourself up, like really, not just saying it, but really feeling that way, pulling yourself away. You guys are good at that. Those Geminis are very able to not isolate, but pull themselves away from things to just sort of protect themselves. Again, it depends on what else is aspecting your natal chart, but the archetype is able to do that. So we have the Hangman in your challenge position. And this is something that you might be struggling with internally, because this is like an internal psychology. So this tells me that you're feeling very confused about something at the end of the day. Things might seem unclear. If something having to do with money feels very unclear right now, really be careful to not sign a contract or be very, very careful when dealing with legal matters, because there may be a lot of things going on that you're not yet aware of, but you intuitively vibe. So you might experience some delays, but welcome those. Welcome the delay, because ultimately they're going to be protecting you, especially because right now, even this week, we're in Mercury retrograde pre-shadow, and then Mercury goes retrograde and then comes out of post-shadow. So all of this is going to be going on, for the next month. So if there's a delay in something, don't feel too frustrated about it. Just recognize that everything is going exactly the way it needs to go. We have the Hermit energy in the reverse. So the Hermit energy, first of all, is a Virgo energy. Virgo is that sixth house of problem solving, right? So psychologically, you might feel very alone and unsupported as you're trying to solve some problem having to do with finances right now. You might even feel a little lost. Lost is a good word sometimes, right? But this might be because you don't want to ask for help with a situation. This could also manifest, though, as feeling victimized or martyred because you're having a hard time moving on from one situation that you intuitively know isn't good for you. If you are in a time where you feel cut off maybe from just people, right? Maybe because of COVID and you're working at home and you're just feeling very cut off and disconnected. You really need to think about this. If you're feeling very cut off from people trying to give you advice, you might need to pay attention to that now, right? Because this can be a message of it's time to very much rely on your own guidance and what feels energetically right for you, even if your best friend, your partner, whoever doesn't agree. And we have the Queen of Cups in the reverse. So the Queen of Cups in the reverse can indicate some insecurity going on. Insecurity. You also might be dealing with a very smothering kind of energy. This is also an energy of addiction as well. So you want to make sure that addiction wears many different hats. Obviously, it could be, drinking and partying too much and being irresponsible in a way that might be influencing your ability to make money, or solidify something. This could also indicate that you're dealing with somebody who has some sort of addiction disorder and they're struggling through it. So there's this lack of balance there. Okay, good. We have the Judgment. Let's just pull the cards and then we'll see. Got the Emperor. That's so funny. That keeps coming up, Gem. This idea of you doing your own thing keeps coming up. We have the Emperor. The Emperor is I am. It's ruled by Mars. It just keeps coming up throughout all of the different readings. So we have the Judgment energy. So this is about acknowledgement for your success coming in, finances improving, right? Assessing the past, but things getting better at this point, but it requires something ending so that you can transition into something else. So this could be a possible ending of some sort of business connection or avenue of money that you've had. And even though things might be scary initially or tough initially, this does indicate that something new is right there on the horizon, so just be patient. Yeah, the Ten of Wands. But the Ten of Wands is just the card of overwhelm. It's a card of overwhelm. It's like, I can't do this anymore. Can't. It's too taxing. It's too fill in the blank. I can't do this anymore. Then we have the Magician in the reverse. The Magician, again, is that Mercury energy that we talked about before, but this is like a trickster energy. You might be right now being misled by some sort of charming manipulator, like a real, somebody very smooth talking. This could also indicate for you might be struggling through a creative block, challenges in problem solving and communication. You want to really avoid being very scattered right now, which is really, really hard. But getting this focus can be controlled here. But you're going to have to be very, very diligent about it and very aware, very, very aware. Then we have the Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands in reverse. The Seven of Wands in reverse indicates plans stalling out, having very weak boundaries, not handling something well, feeling very overwhelmed, feeling a creative block. But saying, you know what, like I can't do that anymore. I can't live like that anymore. It's time for me to get into something else. The Judgment energy does indicate you will be. And then we have the Emperor energy, which is great. This is just, finances getting organized, balance found in work, in your money situation, you finding fairness at work, whatever it is that you're doing, fairness in that negotiation, fairness in whatever sort of settlement you're dealing with, whatever it is. But if you're doing something that doesn't motivate you or impassion you, you're going to end up feeling stifled. So the key here with the Emperor energy is leader. I am. This is who I am. This is what I am. This is an extension of what I like to share with the world, and that's it. And that's got to be, whatever it is has to be true to you. Whatever you're negotiating, whatever you're getting into, you have to feel really okay with how safe and secure it makes you feel. And don't give up. Don't run away. Don't try to avoid a situation. Nothing like that. Because you might be in the space where it's like, I just don't even want to deal with this. Let somebody else deal with it. I just don't want to deal with it. Could easily be in that situation. Stick with it. It looks like it's going to go well for you, my friends. That is what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.